Hi, Shannon. We're live.
Hi, Jane.
Hi, everyone. It's Jane McLeod live on Facebook with Shannan Phillips. Shannon hails from Ashland, Wisconsin, where she works at Memorial Medical Center, and she is the office manager of ophthalmology services. And gosh, I admire you guys that run clinics so much.
Oh, thank you.
It has been tough. I know that the CMAs, CNAs, MAs, everybody we use for those frontline supportive positions in clinics is just so short-staffed right now. And you were just telling me your team ran short for a year, 5 people.
Yeah, yep. Ebbing, flowing, not 5 people over the entire year, but yeah, it was for the majority of a year we were short-staffed consistently. And yeah, it hit the point of 5 people and we were struggling to maintain, but we kept on floating.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And what I really admire is when you said that you didn't reduce your services, which I would appreciate as a customer. I'm sure your staff didn't know what to appreciate.
Yeah. I don't know that my staff would say the same thing, but we did it. We did it. And we now have 5 new hires. So we are now, I am so happy to say, fully staffed for the first time in a very long time. So now we're training and starting that process.
Yes, onboarding. Yay.
Yes.
So the reason why I wanted to bring you live today, Shannon, is I just loved when you told me your story of being a leader previously. You worked in this very clinic where you're sitting, but then along came a little organization named Memorial Medical Center that purchased your ophthalmology clinic. And so you went from being a kind of a sole provider manager to belonging to an organization. They've been a partner organization for a long time, very successful, and belonging to an organization that strengthens their leaders, that believes in strengthening leaders and purposefully and intentionally strengthens leaders and invests in them. So tell me a little bit about how that felt.
Yeah, it was an experience. Being a leader in a private practice. It's funny, actually, I found this practice and I loved the idea of being private practice until I had the sole responsibility. And then it's a challenge and there's not much to support you. My providers are amazing and they did everything they could to support me. But it was a hurdle learning the practice and learning the role and shaping it to be what it is. I had this concept in my head of when I became office manager, there was a lot of negativity and it was a pretty toxic environment. Everybody was really great at their jobs. There was not one bad person or somebody that I could even point to that had malintentions towards anybody. But it was a very toxic environment and a lot of people hated their jobs. They came here, and I actually shouldn't say that. They loved their jobs. They hated the day-to-day and working with their peers the way that it was going. There was a lot of gossiping and negativity, and it just was a very toxic place. And in joining MMC and learning about the culture that they have and the different processes such as goal setting and improving just the positivity of the environment. Everybody should come to work and love their jobs every day because that's why we're here. That's what we're doing. I had this idea of how I could do that. And I was like a quarter of the way into, and then along came Capstone and taught me, basically gave me all the resources and the tools that I needed to accomplish what I had in my mind. So it was pretty amazing to see it all unfold. I had this idea of what it could be, and getting the tools to get there was huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. I love that, you had great vision. You didn't feel helpless, but it was, okay, there's the Mojave Desert in front of me.
Yeah.
Walk across it, right?
Kind of felt like I was biting off more than I could chew.
Until you break it down into manageable bite-sized pieces. We
Yeah.
always say that. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
that is what we teach at the summit as well as well as the academy. It's like, what is your focus? What actions are you going to take? And how will you move forward? So
yeah.
So tell me your top 3 things that you learned that you practice every day at work as a leader.
I use so many of them. Honestly, I was just telling you a little bit before too, but I soaked in all of the knowledge, and it was almost like, oh my gosh, I can try 20 different things at once. But you did say we need to try one thing at a time, biting off one piece at a time. Exactly. And that really makes a huge difference. The first thing that I felt overwhelmed by at first in becoming a leader was the goal setting process. I did not understand it. It seems like such a simple concept, but I think I was even making it more complicated. But how do you put measurable data to our goal? How do you go about this to make it work for you? And again, being such a toxic environment, it was really important to me and to my staff and to keeping employees around. We have a great team, and I don't want to lose them due to a toxic environment. So promoting positivity into our goal was kind of the avenue that I took with that. We had talked about, or I had learned from being with you guys, the burnout rates and addressing that. It was huge. We also talked about I forget how you guys termed it, but being frustrated with too much change. Change fatigue. Thank you. That was major with us, with being an established clinic, joining an established organization. How do we mend the two? We had a ton of change hit us all at once. So change fatigue and how do you shape that into what we are and where we want to go and what we want to be? So with that, I kind of took all of the things that you gave me and bundled it into what worked for us. And what's working for us is taking our 2023 goals and setting some parameters to it so it's actually doable and it becomes a part of our everyday. And it's been fun, I want to say. There's been hurdles, but it's involving my team in every part of this. So one thing that you guys talked about is the behavior standards recommitment. That was something that we did and we made it our own. I copied what you guys had given us and I gave it to all of my staff. And on there's things that I talked to my staff about. You need to make this what is beneficial for you. So does it bug you when your peers are late to work every day? Does it bug you when you feel like you're taking on way more work than someone else? Does it, whatever bugs you is what we have to put on this recommitment. So take off the things that don't apply and add the things that do. And actually you can see it in the back, that's our behavior recommitment poster. We made it what works for us. And we all agreed. We had a staff meeting where everybody read one bullet point and everybody agreed to do this. And we all signed it in front of each other. So it was a tool that we all depend on. We all know that each other is recommitting to this. And we all agreed in person. So that was really, really huge. It was a pretty powerful thing for my staff.
You're a courageous leader, Shannan.
Oh, thank you. It's one step at a time. It's a hurdle that we all need to get over, but it's not going to work if there's not buy-in from my team. And I can't do this myself. It really is my whole team. So that was the first.
Everybody. We always say that, when people say, is this going to work? Sue and I always say to them, it will work if you work at it.
Yes. But that was one thing that I had to learn from you guys is the culture of MMC is amazing in and of itself. it's amazing because Capstone is helping support that.
Yeah.
But if I didn't understand the goal setting process, how is my team going to understand that? And how is it going to be an effective goal?
Right.
So I will say our first 2 years, and I've owned this with leadership already, our first 2 years of goals, I don't know what they were. I don't know. We didn't really do it because I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And in doing, I was very excited for this year's goals because we had a plan and it's
Right.
working and that we're putting effort towards it. So the rest of our goal, so that was the start of it, but the rest of our goal was, how do we get out our frustrations in a constructive manner,
Sure.
and work through them and change them as a group so that we don't hold on to our frustrations, but we can work through them and make them better. So my team has come up with some amazing ideas. We have a cork board where we put our frustrations on them, and then ways to work through it. Like people will put recommendations on there because I don't want just negative frustrations. I want solutions too.
Sure.
So we talk through that as a group, like, this is frustrating to you guys. How do we fix it?
Right.
And that seems to be working pretty well. They have several other ideas that will track throughout the year. But we're getting through it, little by little. So that's been
They
fun.
made owners, not renters.
Exactly. Yeah.
Toxic renters dumping their garbage everywhere. These guys are owning the solution, just like
Yeah.
you. So
Yeah, exactly.
good for
Um,
you.
And then we take surveys. We take surveys quarterly to see how everybody feels, because it's all based on feeling and enjoying your work day and your positivity and all of that. So we're taking those surveys and kind of tracking how we're doing. So yeah. So that was not necessarily 3, but a whole bunch all in one.
No, I mean, I just, this is what, makes the heart go pitter patter. This is why we do what we do.
Yeah.
It's when leaders like you say, oh yeah, I did it. I took it. And guess what? I have a way better work environment now,
I do. Yeah. It really does all connect. That's the hard thing, is I don't want to say there's one thing that I changed or one thing that I did. We took the information that you gave us and the tools that you gave us, and we shaped it to fit us.
Sure.
Because it's not necessarily one size fits all of a situation. But it really does all play together. So we took different tools and shaped it to what it is. So yeah.
For you. Love it.
Thank you.
Well, fans of the framework, if you want what Shannan has, right? We have 2 offerings in September. We have a live face-to-face Capstone Leadership Summit, a 2-day training for our entire leadership bundle that's coming to Hayward, Wisconsin, the last week in September. And then we have our second offering of the Capstone Leadership Bundle Academy beginning mid-September. And that's a 12-week virtual certification course, and you end up with a cool badge and a leadership certification. Thank you so much, Shannan.
Thank you, Jane. I will just say just one more thing really quick. You guys changed the way that I lead. It felt like before it was a hurdle that was not doable. And now I have the resources and the tools to make my job easier, and it feels like it's something that's more attainable. So I appreciate it. Thank you for everything you've given us.
No, thank you so much for changing healthcare in Ashland, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Thanks, Jane. You too.